Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Talisker 30, 2007 version, cask strength. Dustin, I've been saving this one for a while for you, buddy.
This Christmas Day release, buddy?
This 2007 is actually a vintage year. This is 1976 vintage. This is my vintage birth year of this Talisker 30. As you know, got this bad boy a while back. We've loved the Talisker 25 cask strengths, but we're never able to get the 30 cask strength. Oh, but I got it, probably 4 or 5 months ago? It's been a while. It comes with a big book, Dustin. The big book.
Hardcover, man.
Hardcover book.
$100 book right there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was looking for this 30 for a long, long time. Finally was able to get it. This, again, is cask strength. This one comes in at 50.7% ABV. I've always loved these 30 bottles, this little island in the middle.
Talisker does a classy label on their core traditional line. I mean, the Diageo special releases of today have all become a little trashy. But now, Mike, so you're going to release this on Christmas Day, right?
I don't know, Dustin.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
I was going to wish the guys Merry Christmas if we did.
Well, if I do it or I don't do it, Dustin, now I'm going to have to figure out how to stack the reviews, but we'll see.
Well, this is going to be a special day. I'm sure Mike will put it out there for some special occasion for us.
For the holiday. But again, Talisker 30, back when they used to do the cask strengths. They did cask strengths up until, I want to say, 09 in the 30-year-old. I want to say like 10 or 11 after that. They all moved to 47.5% ABV. We've brought to the normal 30, the normal 25, the cask strength 25, and now finally the cask strength 30.
Mike, it doesn't ever stop shocking me how fruity these older Taliskers, whether it's the 25 or the 30, and the cask strength ones especially. I remember the regular 30 gave me a candy, cigarette kind of note, had this whisper of smoke that came through it, had a little bit of maybe, dare I say, Velicor, older book notes.
Yep.
Yeah. This just smells fruity.
Yeah, it does. And there's a leather book note to it as well.
Yeah, it's leather. Yeah, you're right. It actually has a little bit of well-aged quality bourbon notes coming through here with that aged antique wood with some rich aged caramel vanilla notes.
This didn't jump out of the bottle like the way the 25 did. 25 was just such an aggressive animal.
Yeah.
But this one was always a big punchy fruity one. And that's what the normal 30 is too, the 45.7. But yeah, it's just a fruit basket.
Dare I say, Mike, that what really it's hitting me with really hard here is apple cider.
Yeah, there's a good apple note to this.
It's not just apple; it's apple cider. It's that apple with some cinnamon notes going on. It's like you're at the orchard, man. It's fall. I mean, you've just done a pumpkin hunt. You've got some hay out back.
Yep.
And you're getting that apple cider outside.
Yeah, apple spices for sure, Dustin. That's all over this. I love the old Talisker smoke notes. It was just such an oily note of smoke in the cask strength ones. I'm getting that heavy oil smoke now.
The oil is so heavy here, but the smoke is well integrated in. It's part of everything. It's just it's seeped in, but it's not wafting away by itself.
No, the Talisker smoke notes don't get away from you sometimes the way some of the Isla ones do. But
Mike's just stacking his drinks today.
I'll tell you what, just got a new washer delivered.
Mike had a rough day.
It was effective. It's been a great Thanksgiving. Oh, but this whiskey makes it so much better.
That's why they call it Black Friday, Mike. You think it's going to be great, but it's a black day.
It's a punch in the eye.
Yesterday I decided to go from 60 the day before to 30s.
It's snowing. But I tell you what, this whiskey makes it so much better.
This is very fall in nature. I think we first cracked this around the fall, Mike, and it was beautiful.
It's in a nice spot. Old whiskeys, it takes a little while for them to open up sometimes.
I really like about this, Mike, and this is a preference. I am not a huge fan of Talisker Spice. I like it. I don't dislike it by any stretch, but it's one of those things that when I think of $1,000+ whiskeys, it's not a note I really want, and this does a beautiful job of integrating it with a really nice sweetness, a little bit of smoke. This is a perfect nose on a Talisker that hasn't left the peppers out, but it doesn't play on them heavy, and I love that about this whiskey.
Yeah, it's still pepper. Sometimes Talisker will be a white pepper to me. It's still a black pepper to me.
What's there?
Oh, it's there. And it is a peppery spice. I always loved it on the 12 for that because it came with that nice buttery note. And there still is a hint of an oily butter, kind of it's preserved by the cask strength bottling of this. But again, I still go back to I love the old smoke on the old Taliskers. This is 70s vintage, Talisker.
Well, could you make an apple butter or something? I mean, because there is an oiliness, butteriness, yeah.
The cream, the spice.
The integration of wood here too. I mean, I mentioned some of those bourbon notes, but I mean, it's so well integrated into that fruitiness because it's fruit forward, but you do have a little bit of that leather, a little bit of that antiqued oak, and it's so well done. I mean, this is not even close to over oaked. I mean,
and you know what's nice too is there's still some part of that maritime salty coastalness that's preserved, just kind of here, kind of on the edges of it.
I think you're right, it's there, but I tell you what, I'm expecting to get much more of that maritime note on the palate. It's just you're jumping in there. Because, this is, I mean, really when you're nosing this, you could almost, convince yourself maybe it's a Speyside, maybe it's a Highland or something, it's just really old, it's really, well-aged, maybe the wood is part of these spices. Now, again, you're not losing Talisker here either. I'm just kind of getting at, this is such a refined, high-end whiskey experience here that it could really fall in line with other distilleries.
Spicy, punchy, oaky. Fruits are there. This is dominant. Spice, smoke, oak. Peat with antique leathers sitting outside in the shore. It's like you're on a nice furniture in a really nice house, but you open up the doors and you're right on the beach. It mixes a lot of the best of old and new. There's still a vibrancy and a snappiness to it as well. 50.7. It feels strong, oily, dense.
I can't believe that's only 50.7. And I remember the first time having this and not thinking it was proofy enough. And wow.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
I've had this open for a while. It might have been more like 8 months. I've had this for a while now.
We've had it open for a while. I remember when we cracked it and the cork broke and everything.
Yeah. You're a master at that.
What a...
It's a great stinging long lager too. If you love Talisker, see that is something the old 30, the 47 or 45-7-30 didn't give me. It was all fruit, but it didn't have any of the old Talisker that I remembered. This, just like the 25, it still keeps that Talisker just spirit with the cask strength and the oiliness. It's still there. The butter, the pepper, butter, seashore. Smoke, and I get this smoke is it's just not the same in current Taliskers.
I was not ready to review this, Mike. Wow. The spices here they go straight to 11. It is spicy as hell.
So intense.
The alcohol oiliness just pummels you when you come in. But there's this red fruit richness. I don't know if they're casking on here, but I mean, I get sherry-like notes.
Yeah, it's sherry ex-bourbon.
All throughout. Just wonderful, epic sherry casks.
Now chocolate's coming up.
Goodness, I mean, it is an absolute, complete mouth-coating sensory overload. I can't believe what an overload this is. It is almost too aggressive, too powerful to focus on any one thing. It is a hurricane coming crashing in to the coast. You're in the house and you're just hearing noise and sounds and just a cacophony of everything going on at once. The smoke, the spices, the fruits, the candied. I mean,
the spice is almost overwhelming at some points.
It is.
It just instantly comes back to the fruit, and there's a smoke there to kind of... The smoke's dirty, but it burns away all the excess of the pepper.
Yeah.
Man, it's such an aggressive beast. I love the cask strength version of the 25 and 30. There's such an upgrade. There's such an upgrade over the 45. I mean, I got all four. They're all sitting right there. These are so much better. This is
incredible. I mean, it's truly incredible.
And again, the big difference between 25 and 30s, whether they're cask strength or 45-7, is there's so much more fruit in these 30s. This is old, fruity 70s distillate Talisker. Man, the fruits are incredible too. I mean, I've gotten away from some of the fruits. The fruits here are probably the show. If you had to sit there and list what's special about this whiskey, the fruits,
the spice on the mouth with the fruit on the nose is just unbelievable. And it's we talk about the apple cider and stuff, but guys,
It's a fruit basket.
But it's not just that. There's a antiquiness, a leatheriness, a
the leatheriness,
richness. Right. There's a spiciness here. It is an incredible experience that it's hard to explain because there aren't whiskeys that do this.
No.
I can't think of anything else we've had that does this. This is, again, it's a richer, more leathered, oaky kind of experience than the 25.
I haven't even dove into the oak note on this. And it's just like, it's a cake.
It's so hard to figure it out. I mean, it's just, this is
oak
epic.
cake.
This
oak
is truly
cake.
epic whiskey.
Yeah, it came off a little more subdued, like a lot of whiskeys do initially when I opened it up. But man, this thing was opened up beautifully.
Oh, I love what water did to the mouth.
Oh, it's always a good sign. Give it to me, Dustin.
Oh, it has.
I've never had it with water.
It's softened everything up, and it's let the fruit note dominate over the spice. And oh my goodness, it is. It's apple juice and tea and leather and oak and vanilla and some red fruit, maybe cherry, strawberry kind of hybrid. A little bit of whipped cream coming in there. The tannic oakiness coming all the way through it that really balances and pulls it all together. Oh, beautiful. Finish is a little softer with the water. I'm a little disappointed in that part, but that's nitpicking an otherwise spectacular experience.
The food, or the fruits. Apple and tangerine marmalade. Buttered biscuit. Banana. Candied banana. Chocolate covered orange. Still great spice, but it's subdued compared to the punch it was. It was not quite the swell. The swell before was a 12 out of 10. This swell is a 6 out of 10.
I mean,
buttery Talisker seashore pepper.
Salty, warming notes.
Salty and pepper, yes. When I say maritime, there's a salt component in that maritime, but then pepper obviously distinct from that.
I want to just lay down on that couch, just sit back and close my eyes and just let this linger on my mouth for an hour.
Got a good day drinking.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, water rounded off some of the higher swells in the experience, and it amplified the fruit slightly. And it expanded the fruit as well as brought it a little more up to the front. Again, I still think with the Talisker 30s, the fruit is the show.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a fruit basket, man. I'm getting the smell of green banana, like just not eating the banana. There's just the smell of it. There's more fruits here. Pear.
There's a little bit of a smoked lime.
Smoked oyster. I'm not even a huge oyster fan. I haven't had them a ton in my life, but this smells like smoked oyster.
You get some salinity there from that. I can get that. Oh, man.
There's a pearl inside, Dustin.
For what these cost, it should have a pearl in there.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap, trust me.
No.
Wasn't cheap buying this in 2024. It by a long shot, my friend.
No, these are not cheap.
But Dustin, my impulse control is not my strongest suit of my character. By any stretch of the imagination.
Avoiding overpaying for whiskey is not something we were born to do.
Yeah. Dustin, my bottle, my friend. So you go first as far as the whiskey score. Where you at?
I really meant to when I said I wasn't ready for this, Mike.
Give it to me.
This just overwhelmed me with intensity, flavor, and then with water. It actually helped me kind of pick it apart a little bit better. Still incredible. I am going to go 93 here, Mike. And I feel like I need to go back with this on a separate occasion to really drill down if that should have been a 94 or if it should have been a 92. But I could go either way, so I could be underrating this, but I am going 93, and I'm very happy with that score.
Obviously, I've had this a few times before we got here.
Yeah.
It had a great fill level on it. Great. I mean, this is incredible. I remember saying that it was right up here. I was like, this could not be a better bottle that I had purchased 47 years after it was distilled and, almost 20 years after it was bottled. I've had it a few times. I'm right there with you. I'm at a 92 out of 100.
Okay.
It's one of the higher. It's been a long time since I've given something a 92.
It's a big score.
Yeah, it's got to be special. It's got to be special. And we talk about things off-putting. There's nothing off-putting. Obviously, in this thing, it's cask strength, extremely oily, extremely viscous. all-encompassing mouthfeel and nose as far as experience. Great linger, handled water extremely well. The peat, the peat and the fruits that come out of that 70s distillate, Talisker, is just, it's hard to describe to people who aren't very versed in a lot of whiskeys, but I got it in Lagavulin 12 White Horse Edition, and a few other whiskeys like that. But the fruit notes that are obtained from peated whiskeys from that generation are just very hard to describe. But I've always said very concentrated, very thick, very oily.
It's the way the fruit and the wood play together. From that, I don't know if maybe the cask back then had smaller, bigger rings or something. That,
it feels more concentrated. Thing. Like it feels more potent. You know what I mean?
But again, like the oak, it has this overlay playing with those fruit notes that happens in that area. And so again, I don't know if it's were the trees bigger they were using, smaller. I don't know.
Were they in orchards? I pick up some fruity,
I don't know.
Apple orchards all around.
Yeah, I mean that's where the reason I go 93, Mike, was just that intensity was so incredible. I mean, it's just.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
It's just your knees start buckling. You're just getting this experience. Like it is truly just an experience.
So sometime we'll probably bring this with the cask strength 25 opened up. I mean, they're different whiskeys, but
they are.
I mean, I wouldn't have said this when I initially opened it up, but it's one of the best Taliskers I've ever had.
The thing with the 25 that I always struggled with, Mike, was that it's a different whiskey. Every 6 months you have it open.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's one of those where I remember when we first had it, I was like, oh my God, it was punchy big, and then it came back a year later, and then it faded, but the fruits came back out, and
This one was, I tell you what, when I opened up, very similar. It was a little more closed off, what you would expect.
It was closed off when you got cracked it.
But yeah, I mean, being open for not quite a year, but I would guess around 8 months. I mean, the whiskey, the fruits have just exploded in this one. It's an excellent whiskey.
I mean, the flavors exploded too. I mean, when we first had this, it came off soft
subdued
and subtle. This is nothing like that.
It was the exact opposite of 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is this dragon is fire breathing right here, and it's an amazing experience.
Long they've been unleashed. Anyway, those are our thoughts on this particular whiskey. Again, the 2007 version of the Talisker 30 cask strength. And thank you to my good friend in North Carolina for getting this for me. He's come through with Lagavulin 24s, Lagavulin 25s, 21s. My man. Anyway, if you guys had a chance to try some, we'd like to know what you guys think. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy 30-year dragon slaying whiskey drinking.
See you next time.